Hi guys, welcome back, my pre-algebra students, Saxon Algebra 1/2, third edition. We're on lesson 17 today. We're gonna talk about area, and this should be a refresher from your 6th and 7th grade classes. But just to remind you, finding the area of a figure, we're gonna find the area of a rectangular shape here, right? I was gonna say prism, but that's a 3D. If I had this was 4 columns this way, 3 columns this way, right? To find the area of a rectangular shape, we find area equals, I guess rectangle is the best way to say it, length times width. And when I say length, I mean this guy times the width or the height, that's this guy right here. 4 times 3 is 12, meaning that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units in that whole rectangle, okay? So finding the area of a rectangle is length times width. Area of rectangle, that includes a square. You could say square, you just end up multiplying it squared, the side squared. Don't even worry about that. Just stick with area of a rectangle or square equals length times width. Because guys, look at this. Let's say that I had that 4 by 3 again, right? The area of this square then is 12 units squared, so like 12 feet squared, 12 inches squared, whatever. But if I cut that in half, do you guys notice what shape I have there? That's a triangle. That's a triangle. So guys, the area of a triangle, is the same as the area of a rectangle. You just got to chop that buddy in half. Chop that baby in half. That's chopping it in half is dividing it by 2 or multiplying by 1/2, either way. So keep that in mind. All right, so on lesson 17, I'm gonna do some examples. I have a figure that looks like this. So 36 by 24. Had to pause there for a second because I could hear my naughty dog getting into something. So you guys should meet my dog really quick. Boris, come. This is my new dog my husband got for my birthday in June. Boris, come on. And you guys are my favorite class. Come on, up, up, up. Oh, you can barely see him because he's a black golden retriever. He's half black, or half golden retriever, half black lab. So, but he's 100% love. Anyway, he was getting into something on the counter in the kitchen. So, all right. So now I've invited him on my lap. It's done for. All right, guys, so area, we've got 36 by 24, 36, and it's asking us how many 1-inch tiles. So there would be 36-inch tiles that way, 24 this way. So in order to figure out how many tiles, and let me back up and say, this is a good point. When you go, if you guys have ever had to do home improvement repairs, right? You go to Lowe's and you see, or like Home Depot or whatever, the flooring shop, and you see, oh, you can buy like hardwood floor. It's $2.50 per square foot, right? So for example, this classroom that I work in, it's in my house. So let me show you just a little bit about this. I gotta figure out how my things work. So if you take a look at this classroom here, I drink soda at home too. So you can see this floor, I gotta replace this floor. See, it's my classroom is in the front of my house, and bonus dog, he's hanging out with me while I record videos. My classroom is in the front of my house, and you can see on the floor here, that's why I was showing you the floor, it's hardwood, and it's laminate, but you don't know the difference between that yet. I need to replace it. So I gotta go to Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, and I say, okay, well I have this room, right, and it's it's 10 feet by 13 feet, shaped like odd square room, right? So the person at Lowe's that's gonna help me is like, okay, so we got to get you some flooring. How much are we buying? You're buying square footage. I'm going to take that 13 by 10 and I'm going to multiply, because here's my room, right? 13 feet by 10 feet. And I'm going to take that 13 and I'm going to multiply it by 10, because that's how we find the area. That gives me 130. Feet times feet is feet squared. So guys, when we're talking about area, we're talking about units squared, feet squared, yard squared, that kind of thing. And so you'll see that when you go and you're looking at the price, it's like per square foot. So if I'm paying $2.50 per square foot, I would need to multiply this number by $2.50. This part here, square foot, right? It's sometimes written like this. And when you see it like this, that's that's not telling you to square this. It's just a different way of writing square feet. Another time you'll see it is feet squared, okay? You might see it written like this, squared feet, something like that, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're seeing all these things. So let's say I wanted to tile this floor in 1-inch tiles. Not only is that a terrible idea because those are tiny tiles, but let's just say I wanted to do that, right? Just like this guy right up here. So this is the example. Each one of those tiles is 1 inch. Well, one is gonna go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 36, right? And then another row of 36, and then another row of 36, and another row of 30. In fact, there's gonna be 24 rows of 36. Of means multiply. So we take that 24 in order to find the area. We take the length times the width, which just means one side times the other. Area equals 24 times 36. 24 times 36. It's okay to use a calculator. I think probably going forward on this, I'll let you know if I don't want you to. But 24 times 36, it's always a good practice to just try and do it without the calculator so that you have it. But I don't want to waste time by showing you how to multiply. So 864, and this is, let me back up. This is 24 inches times 36 inches, right? Inches times inches is inches squared. So we have 864 inches squared, or you could write it like 864 square inches. Both of those are totally acceptable. The abbreviation for inches is IN. So that's how you find the area, right? All right, let's take a look at the next guy. Find the area. Oh, so these are going to be wonky figures. These are actually called composite figures, okay? Composite figures. 4, 6, 4. I'm looking at example number 2 on page 62, by the way. 12, 2. All right, now, what I would like you to do is imagine that this thing was filled in, and it was a regular size rectangle, right? You would take 6 times 12. So the whole big thing is 6 times 12, which would give us 72. Oh, and the units are centimeters. 72 centimeters squared, if we had that whole thing. But a shark came along and it took a bite out of this, and it's this bite right here. How big was that bite? Well, it looks to me like, since this guy is 4, right? So I'm gonna pop that out. That means that's 4, because I can just pop it that way, right? 4. Now, this whole thing is 12 up here, and I know that because this is 12 right here. 12 minus 4 is gonna give us 8. So this must be 8 in order to get 8 plus 4 is 12, right? So taking a look, I'm gonna erase this guy here. This bite that the shark took out, the area of that is this times this, 8 times 4, which is 32 centimeters squared. So we take the whole thing, 72 centimeters squared, and we subtract the shark bite. And when we do that, we get 40 centimeters squared, 40 centimeters squared. The book shows a different way of doing it where you could like do this and draw a little line and find the area of this shape and then the area of that shape and add them together. Either way works. It'll come up the same either way. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now, given what I've given you, and do those practice problems at the bottom on page 62, and then when you're done, come on back. All right, so what did I do? Set something on my computer, totally messed that up. All right, so I'm gonna just draw these out. I think that's probably the easiest way. All right, so for A, we have 2, 2, 2, and 4. All right, let's find the area of the big shape, which means I need this length right here and this one right here. I got the 4. Now, this is 2. If I were to pop this guy out again, this would be 2 right there, right? Which means this over here must be 4 because 2 plus 2 makes this side 4, okay? Now, same with this thing. This whole length is 4 here, which means this must be 4, which means this must be 2, right? Because 2 plus 2 would give us 4. So the area of the big shape is, and this is how you need to be showing your work, right? 4 times 4 equals 16. Let's look back at the units. Dimensions are in feet, so 16 feet squared, okay? That's that big, 4 times 4 is the big shape. Shark came along, took a bite out. This bite was 2 by 2, this guy right here, right? 2 by 2 is 4, right? So 2 by 2 equals 4 feet squared, or actually you could just probably write minus 16 minus, because we have the whole amount, we got the shark bite, right? That gives us 12 feet squared. So your answer should be 12 feet squared. Guys, by showing your work, you are at least writing down the problem, right? You are at least attempting to show something other than 12 feet squared, because I don't know what that means. All right, so for B, this is not going to look very much like the drawing, but just bear with me here. This is 10, this is 4, this is 2, this is 3, 3, 3. All right, guys, the large shape here, that's pretty easy. It's going to be 4 by 10. 4 times 10 equals 40, and we got it. Don't forget those units, feet squared. Now, the other part that I need, though, is this shark bite, right? The shark bite is this whole thing right here, okay? Whole thing right there. Well, we know that this is 2 and 3, and we know that this whole thing right up here is 10. It's 10, right? Because this one is 10, so this is 10, right? 3 and 2 is 5. That means this thing right in here must be 5. Because if it went along dotted line here, this must be 5, right? Because 3 plus 5 plus 2 would give us 10. So the area of this shaded bit in here is the big shark bite, right? Shark bite. That is 3 by 5. 3 by 5 times 5. I'll leave it right up in here. Let me move these guys. 3. So 3 by 5 equals 15, and then I wrote 10. Equals 15. So we take our 40 feet squared and we take 15 feet squared. We're going to take that shark bite away. We end up with 25 feet squared. 25 feet squared for the area of that. Okay, last one is on the next page. Now this one is on that last one on the page is C. Now this one's actually going to be a little tricky because we can't do the shark bite technique. Okay? Because this is an irregular shape, right? So we're going to break this guy out. This is 12. This is 12. This is 2 and 8, 5, 4, 5, and 8. So there's a different method of solving these, right? So if we know that this is 2 and 5 and 5 and 4. All right, so let's break these up into shapes we know. I'm going to use my blue pen to show you what new lines I'm creating. This line right here, right? Well, we know that this is going to be 5 times 4, which is 20. Okay. Now draw a line right here. We know that this is 8 by 2, right? For this chunk right here, that's going to be 16. Now for this one, we know that this whole side is 8, right? But we need to figure out what just this portion of it is. So if we did, because this is, do you see that this is 4 here? So this is 4, right? If the whole thing is 8, that means this, I'll leave that 8 there so it doesn't look confusing. Actually, what I'll do is, this is 8, right? That whole thing is 8. And if this side is 4, that means this side is 4, that means this is 4 too. So down here, 12 times 4 gives us 48. So what we have are 16 feet squared plus 20 feet squared. So we got this one plus this one plus this one. All those have to be added up. We're not doing the shark bite, right? Plus 48 feet squared. All of that gives us 4, carry the 1, 4, 8. 84 feet squared. 84 feet squared. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. Otherwise, good luck, and I will see you on our next lesson, guys. Thank you so much.